All right, the offseason continues for the New York Mets, and it's not getting any better. In fact, it's gotten rougher. The Mets losing Pete Alonso. He now goes to the Baltimore Orioles. 5 years, $155 million. That is the highest annual average ever for a first baseman. Tough blow for the Mets one day after they lose their closer, Edwin Diaz, to the Dodgers. Pete Alonso now goes to Baltimore. And this only mounts the pressure on David Stearns. How do the Mets replace the back-end bullpen stuff that we saw from Edwin Diaz and the offense provided by Pete Alonso? Huge blow, because not only is he a homegrown star, he is the franchise's leader, all-time leader in home runs. So the question is, how are they going to replace it? Now, there'll be a lot of talk about whether or not Pete Alonso is worth the money that the Orioles gave him, that highest annual average ever for a first baseman. And some can argue, for a guy who's displayed a lot of power but hasn't really hit for average, that maybe it's not worth doing that. But what I will say is, I do believe it was imperative that the Mets brought Edwin Diaz. I thought that should be priority number one. And then once they lost Edwin Diaz, I thought it was a huge priority for them to bring back Pete Alonso, but they were unable to do that. So now all eyes will be on David Stearns. There were no deferrals in the deal for Pete Alonso. Our Joel Sherman and John Heyman both reporting that. But 5 years, $155 million. And the Mets have now struck out, not being able to bring home two of their players and return them in free agency. Where do the Mets go from here? No one knows. They have a lot of work to do. But a rough Tuesday and Wednesday at the winter meetings for the Mets. And again, how do they pivot? Where do they go? A lot of Mets fans are going to be frustrated, especially losing a homegrown star like Pete Alonso. When you look at this offseason, Brandon Nimmo is out, Edwin Diaz gone, and so is Pete Alonso. And now we'll have to see how the Mets can try to turn this offseason around, which has not gotten off to a good start.